It's that time of the year again, isn't it? Yo guys, and today we have got my reaction to the 2022-23 Premier League predictions. Every year we try this and it absolutely failed. I've seen some... Do you know what? There's some predictions that I've done decent on. There's some I've done horrific on. Let's get straight into this. 20th Bournemouth. They came 15th. Now, as you may have seen from, I think it was the Bournemouth Twitter video, a lot of people had Bournemouth to go down. No one really gave them a chance. I felt like Scott Parker was a young manager, but it just wasn't enough time yet. They didn't really look like they brought the signings that they needed to bring in. Didn't look Prem strengthened. It's still to this day. I mean, they've got some very good players. Jefferson Lerma's been class this season, but I still wouldn't have predicted them to finish outside the bottom three. Even if I saw the season they had, it's a weird one. It was very tough, and do you know what? Fair play to them because they've got some young players in that squad, and they're probably only going upwards. I mean, we'll see. 19th, Fulham. Like, how many people put Fulham and Bournemouth above 15th? Right? Not really. Fulham and Bournemouth, Watford, Norwich, all them lot are all yo-yo clubs, and yet none of them are going down or up this season. It's so weird. Fulham, the figures last time they had Scott Parker, and players like Ranieri, managers like Ranieri. This season they had Marco Silva, who's experienced in the Prem, and as much as it hates me to say it as a Watt fan, he's a really good manager. So he brought in the players, he got the best out of Mitrovic, and I think they deserve 10th. And also they were close to a European tour at one stage. 18th, Southampton. No disrespect, Southampton, but I got one of the relegated teams down. That's really good. So, they finished 20th. They were really poor. Obviously, Ralph Hasenhüttl has done all right in the past, but I didn't feel like he had enough to keep them up. They sacked him, and they brought in Nathan Jones. Huge risk. A young manager who has no Premier League experience. But as I say, the fact that he's young, if it works out, it could be a good project, but it didn't. He was really poor and they ended up going down. And not many people predicted that, so I'm really happy with that. 17th, Leeds United. They finished 19th. A lot of people had Leeds going down. I thought they were just about survive it again, but they looked really, really poor since sacking Jesse Marsch. Javi Gracia, I mean, I love him as a Watt fan, but he's so out of his depth. And he's Big Sam. It was just too little too late, and it's gutting to see them go down. 16th, it was Brentford. They finished 9th. They were unbelievable this season. I thought they looked really good last season. For a promotion side, they looked strong, and they didn't lose any big players. In fact, Ben Mee was a brilliant signing. So the fact that he came in strengthened it. I probably didn't expect them to finish 9th, but maybe I should have put a bit more respect on their name, finish higher up. Thomas Frank, I mean, Brentford are such a well-run club, and well played to them. 15th, Everton. I thought they were going to do better this season. Even, Frank Lampard isn't the most experienced manager, but, the players like Onana, Tarkowski, I thought they were very smart signings, and I thought they will probably slightly push them up the table. They really struggled, and if the board don't get their act together, they could be going down next season, which is so weird to think, but it just proves that you're never too good to go down. The board at Everton have been shocking for the past couple of years. They need to bring in some signings. But yeah, 15th, 17th isn't too bad. 14th, I had Nottingham Forest. I had confidence that they would stay up. I had belief in Stephen Cooper. Even though they brought in a lot of signings, sometimes that could be a huge risk. I just believe that they had the strength to do it. 14th, they finished 16th. They had some poor results, but they also had some really good results. A win against Liverpool, a win against Arsenal. They looked really good at certain points, so fair play to Forest for that. So I really don't regret putting them 14th. I don't think I should be too hard done by there. 13th, Palace, they finished 11th. They had the exact season I thought they were going to have, just in a different position. To be fair, Patrick Vieira, they started worse than I thought. I thought that they would finish 11th with Patrick Vieira building something going onwards, and he kind of looked like they were going to get relegated. They were quite high up the league, but there was a point where like 19th and 12th were like 2 points from each other. I think they probably could have gone down with Patrick Vieira. It looked like they had to get rid of him. Brought in Roy Hodgson until the end of the season. They've given him another year extension. I think that will keep him up, but I think they should try and rebuild again just with a different young manager, if that makes sense. 12th, Wolves finished 13th. I think they've dropped off a lot since like 2019 and 2020. You know, Raul Jimenez just isn't the same player anymore. I don't really know what's happened to Ruben Neves. You know, they're staying up, but you know, I would like to see them maybe climb up the table a bit, to be honest. 11th, Villa. This is when they had Steven Gerrard. If they kept Steven Gerrard, they probably would have been about 15th, 16th. They brought in Unai Emery, and they were like, I think top 3 in the form chart since he joined till the end of the season, and now they're going on a European tour. Well played to Aston Villa. Did I expect it? Kind of. I wouldn't have been too shocked if you told me that at the start of the season, but under Steven Gerrard, 11th. I'm not too bothered about that, to be honest. Like, well played to Villa. Now, this is something that I'm very shocked at. 10th, Brighton. They had Graham Potter at the start of the year. Usually I predict Brighton to finish like bottom half, you know, towards the bottom, just surviving. But Graham Potter did wonders, and they then had to get rid of him because he went to Chelsea. And you're thinking, oh, are they going to go down a little bit down the table? De Zerbi's come in, and what a manager he is. The signings they made, Estepinian, what a signing. Billy Gilmore looks so good for Brighton. They're so smart, the owners, and they're going to the Europa League, which probably even 2 years ago I've never thought that. Oh, this is... So, I think, apart from maybe Fulham and Brentford, they've been decent prediction, but this is the third really bad one. Leicester in 9th. I didn't expect them to go down. I know Jamie Vardy's getting old, but he still had it in him. Yuri Tielemans, Harvey Barnes, obviously Kasper Schmeichel was a huge loss. They didn't replace him. I didn't think Brendan Rodgers would take him down, but you know, he kind of did. I don't get how this has happened to Leicester. You know, Vichai, would he have ever let this happen? They had such a strong squad, and you know, just 2 years ago, and it proves that you've got to be consistent, otherwise it could all fall apart just like that. It's so quick. It's like, I don't want to bring us into it, but it's like Watford. We got to an FA Cup final, we looked like we were on the up. I thought we were going to get Europe. We went down the next season. Things can change so quickly, and Leicester just didn't really invest, didn't make the signings, and it's come back to cost them, you know, bottom 3. 8th, I had Newcastle. I did not expect Newcastle to do so well as soon as the takeovers happened. Like, they did really well last season. The owners got them from like 19th to about 13th, which is unbelievable form. I didn't expect them to get top 6 though, let alone top 4. So I thought 8th was like, yeah, you know, around that area, top half, not quite Europe. They finished 4th. They've been so smart. Eddie Howe, what a manager. What a manager. Isaac. They've turned Jacob Murphy into such a good player for someone, you know, who was at Cardiff a few years ago. They brought in Nick Pope. That was a brilliant signing. Dan Burn-Botman. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Newcastle in the Champions League. And that's a good thing. Do you reckon, like, because they're now in the Champions League, could that cost them? Could they do a bit of a Leicester, you know, when they won the league and then did really poor the next? I'm really, really intrigued. So yeah, 8th Newcastle, 7th West Ham. The problem is, I predicted last season that West Ham would have a drop off because I thought Europa League it's gonna come back to cost them, and they didn't. So I'm sat there thinking, they're clearly gonna start being a consistent Europa League team, maybe even getting into the Champions League. And as soon as I say they're going to get Europe, they finish 14th. Like, it's just my luck. But, yeah, West Ham were almost in the relegation zone. I didn't think they were going to go down. They are too good. Like they've got some really good players. Paqueta's amazing, but I definitely think they need to strengthen if they want to finish top half next season. Because I'll definitely stick to Moyes if I was a West Ham fan. But I think you've got to change. You've got to bring in some signings. You've got to improve. Sixth, I went with Man United now. Oh, Man United were really poor in the 2021-22 season. Like, they were really shocking. They finished, sixth that season. They've then bought in Eric Ten Hag, and I thought, he's going to cook something. Do you know what I mean? He's going to do well, but I think it's going to take some time. You know, they haven't got a great squad. I don't thought they'll finish sixth, you know, Europa League. They finished third. Do I think they could get the title in the next 3 years? No. But I think they've done really well this season. Really, really well. Fifth, I went with Chelsea. Now, Thomas Tuchel, really, really good manager. World class. Todd Bowley comes in and he ruins everything. He brings in Cucurella. He sacks Thomas Tuchel. Brings in Graham Potter. I know I've spoke about this before. Graham Potter's a very good manager, but he's not someone who's going to get you top four. He's not someone that is going to win you the league. He's not. He's then bought a load of players in January, which, as you know, you shouldn't do. Like, it's always good to get 1 or 2 world-class players, but don't overload. They're now probably going to get punished with FFP. You know, too many egos for Graham Potter to handle, and he has messed it right up. Todd Bowley, I'm not really feeling confident for Chelsea fans in the future, because he knows a bit about money, not about football. Not about football. Yeah, 12th. Chelsea finishing 12th. That's the worst position they finished in a long time. Even back in 2016, they finished 10th, I think. Fourth, I had Arsenal. I believed in Arteta. I think that I've always said that they should trust the process. I think he's a young manager, got a brilliant squad, especially that, you know, they signed the likes of Jesus, Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira. Really good signings. And I thought, do you know what, they're going to get fourth. And they were so close to that Premier League title. I knew during the season that Man City are just too good for them. Like, I knew that Man City would do the double over them. I felt like they were kind of going to lose the league. But Arsenal going forward, people are saying, oh, that's their 1 year, they could have got it, now they've missed out. No, I think they're going to go on a better run. You've got Chelsea, who are not going to get near there anywhere since. I think it's going to take a few years for Man United to get there. I think Liverpool will be back next season. Liverpool, Man City, I think will be the only 2 teams challenging. So, will they win the league next year? Maybe, but I think they've got another chance. Don't lose faith, Arsenal fans. Keep Arteta. Trust the process. I'm sure you're going to make some good signings. It's only looking bright from here. Third, Tottenham. Tottenham. I thought they were going to do better than Arsenal. I thought they were going to get Champions League, especially because they had Conte. I thought he was going to be brilliant. He exposed the players. Steelini came in, did the same, sacked. Tottenham have no bottle. Daniel Levy needs to get out of that club if they want to win some trophies. The Spurs players have no ball. They don't take responsibility. This is a real downfall. And they've not got Europe next season. I don't really think that's going to help massively. You know, a lot of people say, oh, they're going to do really well because they've got no distractions. They're still Tottenham. I'm sorry, but they are Tottenham. Second, I went with Man City. I was so close to putting them top. You don't realise, but I just felt like they'd gone on such a good run that maybe this year that Liverpool were going to overtake them because Liverpool did so well last season. Liverpool. Darwin Núñez, what was he, about 80 million? 70 or 80 million for Darwin Núñez? Oh, you've not replaced Sadio Mane. Trent at right back doesn't work. He's good in centre mid. I definitely think that, but Fabinho, he's poor. He is poor now. Liverpool need to rebuild. I think they need a new right back, probably a new centre mid. You could say, I definitely think they should give Núñez time, but I don't think he's going to do well. I think it would look silly to get rid of him for 1 season after spending a ridiculous amount of money on him. Right? You need him to prove himself, but I don't think he is. I think you need a new striker. new DM, and new right back. Van Dijk, he's a brilliant player, but he's getting on a bit now. You know, he's going to get old eventually. Alisson kept you in it. Right, I've had some, to be fair, especially towards the bottom, I had some decent ones. I'll say it's the top 9 that I really messed up. Top 9. I think getting Brighton in 10th at the time was good. I don't think anyone expected them to get Europe. Villa in 11th. Fulham in 19th. Brentford in 16th. There was some good. I think this is probably one of my best yet, which probably isn't saying a lot. But I think if you look at how close I were with some of them, I didn't do too bad. Let me know what you said in the comments below. Don't lie, don't cheat. Let me know who had to go down and who had to get top 4. Drop a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. We'll be back. I mean, I'll still be posting content during the summer. I've got a bit of a surprise coming. Drop a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. Catch you in the next one. Peace.